I know Tony Blair denied being at this meeting here. He said he was never here in Parliament. When we confronted it, he said he had a great time, and he admitted to us that he did come to the Bilderberg meeting. Is there any charges that could be placed on Tony Blair for lying, even though he's not in politics anymore?
I'm not going to comment on this. First of all, I haven't spoken to Tony Blair, and you're reporting to me what he said. I'm sure you're going to give publicity to it, and I think that people will draw their conclusions from it, and actions will be taken as may be appropriate. That's as far as I can go.
Can you tell us what brought you out here today? What made you come out here?
I have said this many times before. I came here today because this is a unique occasion in Western capitalism. These are our real leaders. These are the top brass of Western finance capitalism. The people who are here are the leaders of the chairman, chief executives of the top banks, of the biggest multinational companies, of UN institutions like the World Trade Organization and the World Bank, of several EU commissioners, and politicians from the US, Canada, UK and EU. These people only come not to have a cosy discussion because they have an agenda which they have got to fix with their peers in order to concert their plans, in order, as far as possible, to preserve or enhance their own interests, but having to take account of other people with power and how they can do that together as far as possible. That's what it is all about. That's why it is entirely secret. They do meet in Davos in Switzerland every year. The difference is that the press is present there and the public, if they can get in. Here they're half a mile away and we can't get any closer, and you will not get any communique at the end. When Cameron goes to the EU Council along with the other Prime Ministers of the other 27 EU states, he always, even though it is open to the press, it's reported by the press, excellently if I may say, he always comes back to the House of Commons and is subject to an hour or more questioning by the Leader of the Opposition and every other MP who asks him a question in the House of Commons, usually on a Monday. If that happens with the EU Council, which we all know about, and which I have to say is not always on the most important issues, what about this, which is something very serious? Capitalism is in a very bad state. We've already had a triple dip. The Eurozone is continuing to go down. The EU shows no sign of recovery. The United States has made some recovery, but is beginning to slip a bit. China is still slipping far below their normal rate of growth. Capitalism is in a very serious state. These people are meeting to decide what to do about their system.
The chief member of the Bilderberg Group, Mr. David Yan, actually admitted that it was this group that helped start and create the European Union. I was wondering, do you have any comments on his blatant answer saying that it was this secret group that helped create the euro?
Well, I'm not sure whether that is really true. I mean, the European Union started in 1957 at the Conference of Messina, and Bilderberg may have had, or the people in it may have had some influence, but I think there were far more profound reasons. The need for France and Germany to find a common ground to prevent a third terrible world war was the main one.
As a member of this government, is there anything you could do or will do because of this secretive meeting?
Yes, I'm not a member of the government, let me say. Okay. I'm a member of Parliament of the Labour Party, of the opposition. Yes, there is, because I have already put down 3 questions to the Prime Minister asking that statements be made to the House about what actually happened, what were the key decisions made, and in particular how it is going to affect government policy, because that's all what we want to know. They can decide as much as they want to, but we want to know how we, the people of this country, as well as other countries, are going to be affected by it, and have our chance to give our opinion, and that they are held to account. That's what democracy is all about. Now, no doubt I will get some polite but rather evasive answers to what have to be written questions, but I am going to put down an urgent question, and under the procedure of the House introduced by the Speaker, it isn't for the government to decide whether to reply to that, it is the Speaker. And if the Speaker does agree, and it's entirely his prerogative, then the minister, the most appropriate minister, has to reply, and there is usually discussion for half an hour, and it could be longer because of the importance of this conference. So that would begin to open it up. But this should happen naturally. There should be a statement made by the minister. It shouldn't have to be required by a member of the opposition.
There's been a lot of secrecy. There's been a lot of suppression of the press when it comes to Bilderberg and their annual meetings. When you have nothing to hide, you shouldn't hide it. But when you're doing things in darkness, you can only wonder what's happening. What do you wonder could possibly be happening in this meeting?
Well, of course, I entirely agree that there is only secrecy which is enforced. I mean, it's important to realise this is held in Watford, which is, those of us from the UK will know that's not the most obvious place. If you're having an international conference, it is almost always in London. Why is it in Watford? Well, it's probably a bit more difficult to get to. Secondly, the place is very carefully guarded by the police, as we all know, when we try to get in. And they are paid for by the Bilderberg Association, which is a charity, which is paying for local security to keep us out. So they're very determined about it. Now, the only reason is because they are talking very frankly, very candidly about their problems, about how they see them being resolved, about what they think the future of capitalism should be, and saying to our political leaders, such as George Osborne, who is here, Kenneth Clarke, perhaps rather surprisingly, what they, the leaders of private markets in Western capitalism, what they believe government should be doing. That's what they're there for, but they may be embarrassing if that was given publicity. That's why they want to keep it secret.
How do you feel about the police response to this protest? Obviously, G4S is searching everybody who comes in. You cannot stand on the sidewalk. Is this really freedom of speech?
Well, of course, of course it isn't freedom of the speech. That's exactly the point I'm making. And G4S have been paid. I don't know how much. That's another question I think we'll put down and get an answer to, but I'm sure it runs into a few hundreds of thousands, if not a million or two, which of course has to be paid for either by this absurd charity or by the taxpayer. Yeah, I mean, it's all about ensuring that they reach their key decisions. I cannot think of any other gathering at all in the course of this year which is more important than this one.
I mean, you could say that about any president. They all get puppeteered into those situations.
Like the Bilderberg group and the CFR.
Yeah, the Bilderberg group, I think, is the one really pulling the strings. So,
what are your thoughts on the important Bilderberg meeting that happened this weekend?
Zach, do you want to make a statement?
Sure. Why don't you guys just give us a call? We'd be happy to get you some.
Well, I mean, we'd like your statement right now. Just the Bilderberg meeting happened, you know.